So what do you call yourself? Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Hey.
Hey, what can I do for you this fine day?
This is your destiny.
Hot, hot, hot. Right now.
Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
Kick it.
Come on in and enjoy yourself.
Right now.
We gon' party like no one else. Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
How is my lovely friend doing today?
Marvelous. How are you?
I am well. You are a vision in purple. That's all I can tell you.
Thank you. You know, you never know when you're going to run into a Chris Woolsey. So I'm trying to get my life together. You know what I'm saying? He is just always so on point and ready to rock and roll. I know that this has been a kickoff of an amazing week for you. You stay busy as the Senior Communications Director for Redbox, Crackle, and Chicken Soup for the Soul. How do you manage to balance it all?
Boy, I tell you, spreadsheets and prayer. That's it.
I love it. I love it. And you know, you have so much content. The entire family, they can always just get their binge list. And that's why I'm super excited to get you in the hot seat and on the tan line. And while we're getting our Chris Binge List together, because you know, if it's a Chris pick, it's got to be the best because you see everything that comes through. So the pressure has got to be there. Because if something's off point, I'm be like, Chris, now you know I can't get my popcorn and my time back. So what were you thinking? And you can't take that.
Nope, I've got a reputation to stand up to. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Look, all of these streaming services, they're free.
Yes, absolutely. There is absolutely no subscription for any of our streaming services. Redbox, Crackle, and Chicken Soup of the Soul, always free. Binge all you want.
That's good. And if the family wants to get together and say, you know what, the kids might want to watch this, or maybe they have an interest in this. I know that the Redbox list is long and you have so much that's going on, but if you had to pick your tops for this week, what would it be?
All right, so let's start with Redbox. So we kind of have a overall theme as I was putting everything together for our talk today. I was like, oh, this is weird. I didn't do this on purpose, but it is crime and crime fighters is the theme that we've got going on this week. And Redbox has a ton. So, you know, one of the many things that I love about Redbox is they tend to get a little bigger in terms of celebrity names. Crackle has a ton of great ones, but because Redbox focuses on film, sometimes they can get titles from performers and artists who maybe haven't gone into TV quite as much. And we've got a great selection this month on Redbox. So kind of a fun little indie sleeper that I had never heard of. And then as soon as I saw that it was on Redbox, I saw that it popped up in like 6 different articles I was reading this week. So it's a sort of a critic's darling, but this is called Tiger House. And it's starring Kaya Soldolario from Pirates of the Caribbean. She was also in Maze Runner. She's adorable. She looks like your typical cute teen, you know, maybe is on the yearbook committee, might be a cheerleader, sneaks out as teens do and goes over to her boyfriend's house, played by Ed Skrein from Deadpool. And while she's there, there is a home invasion that takes place. Yes. And, you know, they tie everybody up, but, you know, they may not pay quite as much attention to her because, you know, honestly, what's a teenage girl going to do to hurt us? Well, come to find out, she can do a lot, actually. She's very resilient. She's tough as nails. And this open and shut home invasion goes sideways quickly. It's a really fun film, hair on the dark side, but it's a great thriller, kind of in the same vein as Don't Breathe from a few years ago. Yeah, it's you know, one of those home invasion that goes wrong.
But I tell you this, I hope that the little guy that she snuck out to go see was worth it, because maybe we shouldn't have even called or text him back, but showing up and being a part of a home invasion, yeah, that's a sign. When we say, God, send me a red flag if he isn't the one.
Exactly.
Yeah, him.
And in that same vein, we have another one called The Perfect Host from 2010. This is David Hyde Pierce from Frasier. And I've always thought he was a spectacular actor. And in my opinion, this film is one of the titles that shows off his chops the most. It's kind of in the same vein as Menu, that film that just came out a couple of months ago, because there's sort of a party theme that again it does not go in the direction you think, but there is a home invasion. Clayne Crawford from A Walk to Remember breaks into David Hyde Pierce's house. David Hyde Pierce has this huge mansion and ends up that he is not your average mansion owner. He looks like a typical rich white guy, but there are some pieces of the puzzle that is his brain that do not work like anybody else's. And David Hyde Pierce makes Clayne Crawford regret that he ever crossed the threshold. But it all surrounds a dinner party. It is a bizarre film, but super fun, and all the performances are spectacular.
Hey, look, don't interrupt my dinner party. I am the perfect host. You will get here on time. You will be well fed and entertained. However, if you show up late or on the wrong accord, things can go wrong with the perfect host.
That's the truth. That is the
I'm
truth.
excited to see that one. And I know you have to have at least another one for me from Redbox.
We do. So we've got another little sub theme in here of playwrights. One of my favorite playwrights from when I was in college was Sam Shepard, who is a spectacular actor, was obviously in The Right Stuff. But he was an unbelievable playwright, wrote a play called The Lie of the Mind that was a huge critical success. I mean, he wrote dozens of very famous plays, but he's also an unbelievable actor in his own right. And this was one of his last performances,
Wow.
the movie Blackthorn. And what this movie does, this is a kind of a neo-Western. And what it does is, you know, we all saw Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I'm sorry, the movie's been out 40 years. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on you. But, you know, the end of the film, they jump off the cliff into the river. And, you know, the assumption is that they did not survive. But this movie asks the question, what if Butch Cassidy didn't die in that river valley in Bolivia? And so Sam Shepard plays Butch Cassidy, and it carries on the story of what happened in Butch Cassidy's life after that monumental leap into infinity. So
I love it. And, you know,
yeah.
that's got to be enough content in that storyline by itself. You know, when people see the movie, it's so iconic, and then you think it just fades to black, but then dun 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 behind the curtains there. But wait, there's more. Where is he been? On a hiatus, yep. But yeah, follow me through it. I absolutely love it. And you know, with that, Redbox has got it going on, but I know that you have more when it comes down to Crackle. Now, when you come to Crackle and their streaming services, who would be more so entertained? Like, what are we looking for this week with Crackle?
So where Redbox leans a little more towards the cinematic and films, Crackle often leans towards TV, although we obviously have tons and tons and tons of fantastic films on there as well. But one of the series that I'm super excited about right now on Crackle is called King. And this is part of our BBC deal. As I talked previously, we have a deal with the BBC, and they send us unbelievable fresh BBC content every month. They're amazing to work with. And we have obviously the series Sherlock is an exclusive on Crackle right now. In fact, we just won most bingeable series by the Home Entertainment Media Play News Award for our exclusive offering of Sherlock. So we're pretty excited about that. Thank you very much. And man, it is bingeable. It is bingeable.
Yeah, it is. Yep. I'm telling you, you'll get lost in that.
For sure. But there is another series from that same deal, King, and that stars Amy Price Francis from the series The Cleaner. And she plays Jessica King, a young woman who was just made part of she is actually made the lead in a major crime task force. So it's sort of a female bent on an NCIS or, one of those amazing police procedural shows. Super clever writing. We've got 2 seasons. It is spectacular. I cannot say enough good things about it. Amy Price Francis, her performance as this tough, gritty woman trying to make a name for herself in what is largely regarded as a men's world. It's fantastic. So check that one out for sure.
Captivated.
What's that?
She holds her own and keeps us all captivated in this series.
That she does. And then so back to our playwright theme that we have going on. We also have a phenomenal crime film called Homicide. And this has some of my favorite people in the entire entertainment industry in there. Joe Mantegna, who you might recognize from everything in the 80s and 90s. I mean, he's constantly working. Phenomenal character actor. He plays a police detective in New York, and he works with William H. Macy, who is also one of my favorites, obviously from Fargo, among a million other titles. And Joe Mantegna is put on a case that revolves around the Jewish community in New York because in this film, he is Jewish. And so he's not happy about it. He doesn't really want to work on this case, but he's pulled in. And it's interesting because Joe Mantegna and William H. Macy both did plays with the guy who wrote this script, David Mamet, who's a very famous playwright and screenwriter. He wrote The Untouchables. He wrote a very famous play called Oleana, which was also made into a movie, which I actually was the lead in the West Coast premiere of that play in 93, 94.
Okay. So, next week when you come back, you have to give us a performance. You do know this.
Oh, gosh. I don't know that anyone wants that, but that was in my previous life as an actor. But William H. Macy is spectacular in this. Joe Mantegna is great. It's just good, hard-boiled. David Mamet is known for these very, very clipped, very fast dialogue, and this film is full of it. If you're somebody who likes good screenwriting, Homicide is one to check out. Yeah,
absolutely. And what else do you have for us?
Well, I don't know if we talked about this one before, but it's actually one of my favorites from the end of last year. Actually, all of last year, because we had 2 seasons of it. This is the Crackle original series, In the Vault. Now, imagine the show Riverdale meets Twin Peaks. So it is a murder mystery that takes place on a college campus. And the cool thing about this show is there's all kinds of names that you're like, oh my gosh, that girl, that's crazy. So the lead is Audrey Whitby, who is also the lead in the Nickelodeon series, The Thundermans, which was great and super popular, but it's a kooky kids show. And then all of a sudden she's in this kind of weird, gritty murder mystery, but she is phenomenal. She was lovely to work with when we were promoting the show. Also, Caleb Castile, who's one of the leads in NCIS Los Angeles. And then what a lot of people were super excited about is this was one of the first appearances of Sydney Sweeney, who is in just about everything right now, White Lotus, and right. She's a super hot ticket. But it's really fun. It's a little bit campy, a little bit gritty. But the cool thing about it is every week they focus on a different character, and one week you think that character is the hero, and the next week you get a different perspective and you think they might have been the killer.
Okay, without giving it away, that's In the Vault. It's a Crackle special.
That is a Crackle original series. Yep. And we have two seasons. Yeah, it's great.
So now if we're going to start doing our binging 2 seasons, we need to catch up. I'm here for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then a couple other little bits that we've got going on. We've got a Murder Upstairs, just to stick with our crime theme. This is starring Josie Davis, who has a series now called Cooking with the Stars. She's great. And it's kind of like one of those, it feels like kind of like a Lifetime movie, but has a way bigger budget, and it's way better produced than a lot of those, but it's fun. Her daughter's best friend is murdered, and she's trying to help her daughter recover from this, but as she works with her daughter, you come to find out that maybe everything about this open and shut murder case isn't quite as open and shut. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's a good one, A Murder Upstairs. And then finally, this is probably, out of everything we have on all three services, this might be what I'm most excited about. And this is Midsummer Murders. And this is a series that we got through BBC. If you like Murder, She Wrote,
I love it.
It's Murder, She Wrote with an older guy. Like it's this police detective played by John Nettles, and his sergeant played by Neil Dudgeon. Both of them are huge names in British TV circles, but they get reassigned to this sort of imaginary region of England called Midsummer. And it ends up, it's full of murderers. It's like with Murder, She Wrote, when you used to watch it and you're like, is this woman just a jinx? Or does she just live around?
I've always tried to figure it out. Like, how do you just end up here? The little town, there are no cell phones, no pagers, but if they need to contact her, they call her on the phone at the corner store that she just stopped by for some eggs, and pow, there's a murder. Oh, wait, did you hear the gunshot? Like, wait, stop.
Yeah. And so Midsummer Murders is very similar. It's kind of a country region of England, but man, there's people getting dropping left and right, and it's phenomenal. We have 10 seasons. If you are looking to binge anything, Midsummer Murders is going to carry you for at least a couple of months.
Yeah,
10 seasons. It's phenomenal. The performances are spectacular. The writing is crazy clever. I love it.
Anything with 10 seasons has got to be good. So
yeah, you don't go 10 seasons for being mediocre.
Right?
Nope.
And when we move over to Chicken Soup for the Soul, what do you have for me?
Chicken Soup for the Soul, that was well, let's see. We those were Chicken Soup for the Soul. So that was Midsummer Murders. I'm sorry. Okay. I think I got backwards there. Midsummer Murders, A Murder Upstairs, and then we also have another series. I'm sorry, Chandler and Company. So Chandler and Company is great. This is a super fun sort of a crime series, but what it is it's a detective agency run by women who have been divorced and now investigate infidelity.
How about it? If you want all the warning signs, we can help.
Exactly, we can tell you. And it's very fun. We've got 2 seasons. The performances are phenomenal, and it's nice. It's kind of a female take on your usual detective show, but it's great. The writing is super clever. I love it.
I love it. And I am a big fan of all of your social media handles. I've started following, trying to see what Crackle TV is all about. Not only do you provide what's showing now, but you give these little clips and these trailers, and it's like it sucks you in. So before you know it, I'm like, hey, look, I feel like I'm cheating on you, Chris, because I just saw it on Twitter, but I need to watch it now, and then we'll talk about it Monday when we get on the line. But yeah, all social media platforms, I strongly encourage everyone to stay in the know, because this binge list, it grows so fast. And although we take a few moments every week to come up with our top picks, man, you have so many more hidden gems. It's ridiculous. It's
endless. Our programming team, they are superhero rock stars. They should wear capes to work, I'm telling you, because
they don't.
I know. I say that every day. I'm like, where's your cape? They find these gems that I'm like, oh my gosh, where did you find this? And why is this not the biggest thing right now? So yeah, check it out. Like you said, it's always free. You can download the apps from your favorite app store. You can watch at crackle.com, redbox.com, or chickensouptv.com as well.
I love it. And I always enjoy our time together. But I know you got more work to do. So I'm gonna let you chase the sun or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it. I love you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Nor would I if I could. All right. Thanks so much, LaTangela.